Hey guys, Long Haul Larry, and we are down here in the garage down in Wisconsin. And today I'm going to be starting to work on the doors. Um, One door, perfect. Back door on the other side, not the greatest. It's not terrible, it's not the worst. But the front doors, they were completely bad. I actually have complete kits and everything to rebuild those front doors. But I could not find one for the back door. This is the back door right here. And so this one here, I'm gonna have to kind of cut and shape and do my own metal work and everything else to make it. So let me show you what I'm doing here. So as you can see, it's all been rotting out here. So basically what I'm gonna have to do is, you can see it, it's all disappeared. So I'll take off these rubbers. If I can get them off. There we go. So it's not too bad from like here over. This is just some surface rust on here. I can clean that up and it'll be fine. So over here is where I'm gonna have to rebuild. So basically, I have these kits for the front doors that it replaces the outside and it replaces the inside part. I searched and searched around. I could not find anybody that had the right kits for these back doors. They all had, I can't remember all the names now, but these are crew cab doors, and I just couldn't find the kits. And so, no big deal. We'll get out the plasma cutter and we'll cut up some metal so you guys can kind of see what I got going on here. This outer lip still has a little bit here, so I bent this out so I can fold it back over the new piece that I'm going to form. I cut out up to good metal. I went back to good metal and everything so I can have something good to weld to. And this is the piece that came out. And as you can see, it's barely hanging on. And I have taken that and I have transferred it onto this here piece of metal. And that's going to be the start of it. And then I'm going to lay it up here. Then I'm going to mark it. And then I'll start to bend it. I'll put a bend down and then a bend back up. So it'll be just like this. And then I'll come over to here and then I'll cut this out, this corner out here, and piece this out too. So it'll go all the way to the corner. It's just going to be a lot of this little tweaking and bending and then a lot of really finesse welding. Well, guys, got my piece of metal cut, and it just kind of sits down in there and stuff. Got it kind of wedged in there right now, but it's going to be a lot of finessing and everything else. So very finessing welding, and I just have to go around and do the best I can and get this all welded all up in there and fill all this up. And this corner, I may have to do something with it, but we'll see how it works out. Well, guys, there we go. We got our new piece all welded in there. It was a lot of finesse welding. It would really work well if I had a TIG welder, but I don't have a TIG welder. Really need to get one. But I made her happen. And I got all the holes drilled. This is for this piece of rubber that goes along the bottom here that seals the door shut. And I got all new rubbers for this whole thing, all the doors. And I got my hole cut here for my drain, so the water, if it gets water inside the door, then it can drain. So now I am going to put POR 15 on the bottom of this door and everything and paint this. And I'm also going to take some primer and I'm going to go inside the door itself and spray bomb the inside of the door to prime it inside. That's where it rusts out, is it rusts inside the door. What happens is the window seals, they leak, and I have new window seals, but the window seals will leak and then water will run down the windows and it'll come inside the door. And pretty much all cars, the water gets inside the doors. And they have these little drains down in the bottom of them so that the water can come out. Well, you know, over time and everything, things get plugged up, things don't drain very well, whatever. The water sits in there for too long, it starts to rust. And you got to remember, this is a 21-year-old truck. But this was a lot of work getting this one door done, but it came up pretty dang good. I am pretty happy with that. And the bottom, the piece that folds over was actually rotten on the bottom. So I made a new piece of metal and I put it on there and I drilled holes all over the place on it. And I basically did spot welding. I just welded it from the top and I just hold it tight and spot weld it and spot weld it, and that's did that. And went all the way along and I got that nice and tight and everything. And then I ground it down to a smooth edge and stuff. So that's all nice and tight now. So the whole door is all good to go now. So I'm going to get paint on it and everything else. The next doors will go a lot easier. I'm hoping at least. Well, guys, here is door number 2. It's not the worst, but it's gonna be bad. It's already starting to come apart and everything. The passenger door, this is the driver's door. The passenger door is really bad. But this is door number 2 that we're working on. We did the back door, and that actually came out really good. I was actually impressed with that. Making my own base, bottom there, and shape and all that and everything, and it actually came out really good. Once I painted it, you can hardly even tell there was a patch there. But that one's all nice and strong. But this one here, I actually have a kit for it. And this is the rubber. I have all new rubbers. I don't know why I have it laying there. But they actually have a kit for it, and here's the 2 pieces that go with this door. And see, it will sit right down there. And then basically what I will do is I got to cut off the bottom part of here so that this sits down better. And then this will go here and I will make a mark all the way along this and everything, all the way down, and I will cut it and then put this piece down on there and put this in and weld this one into place. So this will be good. And then this is the piece right here, and this is the outside door skin. This is going to be the part that you see. And I think that what I'm going to do on this one, I was thinking about it and stuff. If I had a TIG welder, it'd be different. By the way, anybody wants to buy me a TIG welder, hey, send me one. I'd love to have a TIG welder. I need to get one. But I think what I'm going to do is actually going to cut this right at this seam right here. It's on the back side. So on the door itself, it comes down. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right on the seam. And then I think what I'm going to do is leave a little bit of the old door. Probably, I don't know, maybe this much or so, kind of the hump. There's a thing down in here. That's like, no, it's just rubber, I guess. I thought it was glued to it. Maybe it is. I think it is. I may cut below that. And then what I think I'll do is, so it'll be about this far down. I'm going to cut the old one, and I'll cut off the edges and everything, and get rid of that. And then I will spot weld. I will drill holes. I'm just going to use a regular weld and do spot weld. And I'm going to drill holes all the way along, all the way down it. And then I will clamp it on there and everything. And I'll drill holes other places and stuff, you know, randomly. And then just press it up tight, take the welder, and just weld in that little drill hole. And it'll weld to the piece of metal up here. And it'll be a little spot weld. And then all I have to do is just grind off that little bit of weld that's on the outside. Put a little body putty over, you'll never see it. All right, guys. We took the new one and I placed it over the top of it, and I took a marker and I made a mark and cut it out. Looking pretty dang good. So now I'll be able to tack weld this all the way down. It's going to be a nice smooth corners and everything else, and just weld it all into place. Now I know these are skins. That's what these are called. These are called door skins. And a lot of times with door skins, what they do is this will just go right over the top of the old stuff. And you do the same thing with this one. You just put it over top of the old stuff and crimp it around. I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that because this piece of metal that I cut out, it was all rusted out and everything. And if you just take two pieces of rusted metal and you put two pieces on the outside of them, close it in, and you know, spot weld it in and body putty whatever, and seal it up, well, guess what? It's still going to continue to rust, and then that rust is going to spread to the new parts. So now we've cut out all of the rust. We're down to really good metal, and we will put this all in here, and then we'll spray bomb it on the inside to keep it from rusting on the inside. It'll be like a brand new door when we get done. Well, guys, we got this all tacked on here, and so I mean, it's on there. It's not going anywhere. But I'm just going to tack it for this minute, and I'm going to flip it over and start working on the skin on the other side. Just in case this angle isn't quite right or something like that. It looks like it's really lined up, but I'm going to put the skin on the other side and see where we kind of come out. Well, guys, we got this panel. It is all fit. I have cut it so it sits right in that groove, right in the door there. So that's where I'll be putting, I'll make a little fillet of Bondo right there to seam that over once I get it all welded. So I got her set on pretty good, and you can see I got these little holes. See these little holes all in here? That's what I'm going to do is just take, that's another sheet that's below it, and I'm just going to just weld that, and it'll weld this piece to the bottom piece, add strength to it. I got those holes all throughout here. And I got a lot of little holes right alongside the seam too. It's pretty tight, but what I'm going to do is just hold that down just with that, and then tack it. And then come to the next one, tack it, and just go all the way down. And then I'm going to use the little holes. So I'm going to push that down, tack it, and tack it like that, and then I'll weld in that little hole, and then move on to the next one and keep going and keep going and keep going. Get it all nice and straight and everything else, and then go back through and then just do a nice little weld in there, and then grind it all flat, and put a little weld in all these holes. There we go. That's all tacked into place. I'm going to go through and do all these other spots before I pull off my angle iron. You may notice I haven't been wearing my mask. I don't know if you can see me or not, but just doing a little tack like that. This mask is getting really old. It's hard to see through. Well, guys, there we go. It is all tacked, welded up. It's all welded up. Welded all the way down. Not the most prettiest weld, but most 90% it's going to be ground off. Gotta be real careful. It's got some thin metal. I had a TIG welder. I think I've said that a few times. But all these little spot welds and everything else, this needs to be ground down and everything. So now I have a lot of grinding to do. Well, guys, there we go. It is all welded up. I've grinded all the excess weld off of it. And now I'll just put a nice fillet of Bondo into that seam, over that seam, and just cover all these up with a little bit of Bondo and stuff, and sand it all down, and then primer it. So it came out pretty good, actually. Very happy with it. Very strong. I'm gonna flip it over now and weld that other plate in, weld all that in, grind it all up, and then I guess the Bondo, I guess I'll put some Bondo on there and that seam and everything, and let that all dry and stuff, and I can start working on the other door and do the same thing to the other door. Well, guys, this is the last door. This is the passenger door, and this is the worst one. And you can see this thing was, whew, it was almost all the way split, all the way across. Pretty bad. Even the outside of it is resting away. So this is the main reason why I bought the skins, because of this one. But you see the other ones, they needed it too. So we're just going to do the same thing we did on the last door, and I'm going to be doing on this one. Trace it, cut out this side, cut out the other side, start piecing it all together. Let's see if I can get this one knocked out tonight. It'd be great if I could. I have the driver's side door sitting over here, and I put some body putty all over stuff, and I'm letting this all dry and everything else. And then I can start sanding this and everything and working this in. So you won't even hardly be able to see that when I'm done. Well, guys, both doors are all done. They have been, the Bondo has been put on, sanded it all down. I ended up putting another little small thin coat over the top just to keep that, to put that fillet in there where the welding and everything was. And I got to say, it is really good. It does have a little bit of a dip right here and right here. And the main reason why is, well, for one thing, I used the wrong welder. I used the MIG welder, got the metal too hot, and it warped it. I knew it was going to do it. I know it does that. And on the other door over here, on this one, I have one small warp. It's right here. And the reason why is because I went real slow on that one. I would just do like an inch or inch and a half of it, let it cool down. Kept doing that going. I did it real slow. But then when I did this one, I'm telling you guys, I did a lot of welding between this bed and these doors and everything. And this was the last one, and I just was like, get it done. And I just welded it. Got it too hot and warped it. But I don't think it's going to matter. If I was going to be painting this with regular paint, then, yeah, it would matter. You'd see it. But with using this Raptor paint that I'm going to put on here, it's a textured paint. It's a bed liner paint. It's rough. And using that, you don't have to have things perfect. I think it's going to hide 99% of the stuff. I don't really think you're going to notice that at all. I could go behind there, put some plates on the outside, going from the inside, and try to push in and do it all over. But then I'd end up, I'd mess it up a little bit, and then I'll have to go back and more putty and everything. And you know, I think it's just fine. And I think this paint's going to cover up all these little imperfections. But both doors are done. They look awesome. I mean, and the thing is, guys, the funny thing is, I hate doing this kind of stuff. This is really not my cup of tea, is doing fine finish work like this. I'm excited about the Raptor paint, so I really don't have to get crazy with the finishing work and everything, trying to make everything perfect. But I actually went to school for auto body. And after I got out of high school, I actually went to a tech school. I was going to get this. I was going to go in for auto body and all this stuff and get this whole degree in it and start a life in auto body and stuff. And I think it was like 6 months I was there and stuff. And I was just like, I'm not a school person. And the thing is, I had a full-time job at Gale, and they make like farming machinery and stuff. And I was a welder there, and I was making like $22 an hour back then, welding and stuff, doing that at night and then going to school in the day. And I was just like, what am I going to school for? I'm making great money now. It was a choice made. I probably should have went to school for mechanic, but oh well. But this door is all done. It's all sitting over here. This is where the door goes on. It'll be the back passenger door. I'm going to be, let's see. Sorry to keep spinning you guys around. That door is a driver's door. I'm going to put that one there on that piece of cardboard so it doesn't scratch up or damage the bottom. And the passenger door, I'll put it over there. And that'll be all set for it. Here's the fender for my bed of the truck. Got that all put in there, and that came out really good. You can hardly even tell that. And I think with that texture, there's a little spot right here. And yeah, I could continue to keep messing with it, but the texture's supposed to cover all that stuff up. So I don't see no reason to keep working on it. But that one's all ready to go. The truck bed is all good. That's been all final sanding. It's been sitting here and stuff. It's all, the paint's all cured. I'm going to spin it around tonight. I have it on these dollies, and I can just spin it around. I'm going to spin the thing around, and I got the straps. I'm going to hook it in the corners, and then I'm going to hook into it with a tractor right in the middle of it. And I can just pick it up in the air, and it should just hang there. And then I'll move it outside, and I'll take this rack out, set it outside and stuff. And tomorrow, I'm bringing the truck back in. And when I get to pull the truck in here, then I will grab the bed and bring it in here and drop it on the truck. And then I can close the doors up and start the whole piecing back together progress and everything. You get ready for paint. I had to kind of wait because we've had very warm weather. And it's been almost 50 degrees. And it's actually been raining. And outside my shop is like a mud pit. I don't even know. I probably would have got my truck stuck coming in here. But it would have been huge ruts and tracking in mud like crazy and everything else. And the tractor, I would have rutted it all up out there. So I decided to clean the shop today instead. So I got everything all clean, and I got everything moved out of here that I want to make sure I don't get any kind of overspray on. And I actually vacuumed my shop floor with a shop vacuum to get all the dust and everything out of here. This texture paint, you can do this outside and everything. Dust is not a crazy thing. I mean, you can just paint them outside, but give it the cleanest, possible chance I can do here. These were actually the last parts that I cleaned up today. I was messing around, and these were rusted up. These hold those dually fenders on the truck bed, and then those are the mounting posts for it, the sports. And they were all rusty, so I cleaned them all up and put a coat of paint on them. And I am all done with cleaning rusty parts. Yay. So there you guys go. That was a lot of work doing all these doors. I actually went through, I thought my welder was over there. I actually went through that big tank on my welder. And I burned through that tank of gas in 3 days. That's how much welding I was doing. It was a lot of welding between the truck bed and these doors and everything else. I had to go and get it refilled again. And I went through 12 pounds of welding wire. That's a lot of welding wire. And I don't know how many times I've said this, but would have been a lot easier with some of these jobs with a TIG welder, if anybody's listening out there. Like Eastwood. Maybe even Miller, because I got like a lot of Miller equipment. I'll take a welder. But yeah, so I'm very happy with all this. I'm very excited. It's supposed to get cold tonight, and the ground will freeze up out here. It's already starting to get a little firm. And I'm going to go to sleep and everything. I'm going to mess around, place these doors, and then I'm going to get rid of these sawhorses and the tables, which is awesome because that's where all the parts for this truck were all piled up on. And it's empty now. But I do have my mirrors up there. Those I got to work on yet tonight. I just got to sand all those because I'm going to paint the mirrors with that bed liner too. Because in the future, I will be putting bigger tires on, and the tires will stick outside of the wheel wells. And so it could throw a rock up and scratch the mirrors all up and everything else. So I'm going to put that bed liner on the front of them. So I got to tape the glass all up and everything so the paint doesn't get on them. And then I got to sand all that so that the bed liner's paint will stick to it. And then get the truck in tomorrow and start putting everything together and starting to get ready for paint. Basically putting doors back on. Putting the bed back on, attaching the fenders on, stuff like that, getting it all ready, getting everything back together. That's all going to get painted. And then it's going to be, I got to tape off, make sure all the windows are taped off and everything, and tape off other things. And then it's going to be going over the entire truck and just sanding, scuffing up and everything, getting ready for paint and stuff. And so that's going to take a day or two and everything. And then I'll be spraying it. And put this bed liner paint on there from Raptor, and we'll see how that turns out. So I'm going to let you guys go. And I hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day, great night as they watch this here video. And if you're not, then certainly just try that all over again tomorrow. I will catch you guys later. Bye.